Are you ready? Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Stop it. It's Katie here, and normally I'm by myself, but I have my lovely husband, Keaton. Say hello.
Hello.
But today we're gonna do something a little bit fun. A lot of people have been asking how we got to New Zealand, and that's on this guy, and so I brought him here to ask him a couple questions. But first, we have a lot of new subscribers, which is so kind. I originally started this just for like our memories and for our family back home to watch, but there's a lot of people from either New Zealand or there's a lot of people that are looking to come to New Zealand that are now subscribers too. So to quick reintroduce, I'm Katie Keaton, as we said before, and we moved to Christchurch from Nebraska on
June 3rd.
June
3rd.
June 3rd. So we've been here, well, now it's June, July, August, September, October. Almost 4 months. 4 months tomorrow, which is crazy.
Way longer.
It feels like way longer, but also not as long. So I don't know. I feel like that's the story of everything. But yeah, so that's a little bit about us. And like I said, a lot of people in the comments have been asking how we got here and what do we do for work and all of that jazz, how we got to New Zealand. So I thought it'd be fun to ask you some questions. Okay. So first of all, what do you do?
I work in the learning and development world, making e-learnings and advising on different types of trainings like leadership or health and safety.
So you're in like the corporate environment for the company. What's your actual role? It's like senior people development advisor.
Yep.
Right? Nice. And how in the heck did you get a job in New Zealand that allowed us to move here?
I just started checking seek.com or .co.nz back in the spring in the States just for the similar types of roles that I already do in learning and development in New Zealand. And then one of the visas at the time had just certain requirements that I had to meet, like the salary and skill type. I can't even remember all the requirements, but
and visas have changed so much, even
so
since
this is
we
probably
got
irrelevant
in.
now.
Yeah, so it's very different. But
Yeah.
you just started applying for jobs.
Yeah, and essentially when you're an overseas applicant, well, since we also had an immigration advisor, so that helped them know we were serious about moving, but people just have to kind of take a risk on you that your resume hopefully stands out or the job you're applying for is something that they really need, so they're willing to take a shot and at least talk to you. So I talked to several different employers, luckily, and this all happened really fast. The employer I'm at now, they reached out, we interviewed a couple times, and I got the job offer that also launched us into being able to apply for the necessary visas and travel and all that fun stuff. And before we knew it, we were here in June.
Yeah, but it took quite a bit to, I mean, it happened fast once you...
Yeah, once the job offer came.
Right, but...
It was like 6 weeks, but the process of applying and talking to people was...
Because you applied to quite a few jobs before you
lots,
got like
yeah.
anybody to even talk to you. And like I was applying for jobs at the same time and nobody wanted to talk to me. So that's how we got in the country. Also, side note, related, but visas are completely different. And so your best bet, if you are looking to come to New Zealand, go to the immigration website and then go from there. Read everything that's on there. And then 2, this is your experience in one New Zealand company versus the companies that you worked for in America. So every job will be different. Every company will be different. Just preface that before anybody comes for us. We're not saying this is how every single company will be in New Zealand. So how is your role different than what you did in the States? Or is it pretty much the same thing?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Just because in my role, I don't just do the same thing every day. It changes a lot. So sometimes my focus might be in one aspect of learning and development, like on e-learning, like developing and designing e-learning. Whereas another period of time, I'm focusing more on the advisement portion of it, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe what I do. But yeah, it's a great field, and I've worked for a great team and company back in the States who I was super sad to leave and miss, but luckily the team back there was great, and the team I'm working for now is really awesome as well. So I haven't found the adjustment to be too terrible. It's mainly just the figuring out what Kiwi sayings mean and what I call things versus what they would call things.
Right. Because especially in like learning and development, maybe like Americans would say it one way. Like I know one time you had come home and said that you had to change the word learned. Like I learned this, I learnt it. So instead of ending it in an ED, ending it in a T. Yeah. But like, hey, if that's
it's
like the biggest
little
of your
tweaks
problems,
like that,
that's not bad.
Yeah. So yeah, it really hasn't been too crazy different.
Yeah, and we love that. Also, if anybody's watching me drink my water, yes, this is a Grinch Christmas cup. I wanted to use it today. So what benefits do you have? Like what kind of like leave do you have? What kind of 6 days do you have? All that jazz.
This is so funny.
I'm leaving that.
So in New Zealand, you get 4 weeks of paid leave, so 20 days. So that's the baseline.
How many sick days do you get?
And also, don't quote me on this, but because I don't think anyone actually ever told me for sure, but I stumbled upon it one time. I think after 6 months at my job, I get 10 days a year of sick leave.
On top of your normal leave.
Yeah.
Okay. So you won't have to take like paid time off or like holiday pay if you're sick. You just take it as a sick day.
I take the sick leave, yeah.
That's very nice.
Very nice.
So speaking of days off, how do you find like an attitude towards like taking leave? Like, oh, say we're gonna go on holiday, or your coworker's gonna go on holiday. Is it like frowned upon, or is it just like, yeah, go take your leave and go? Like how's
yeah, I think again, because my role, it's the company, depends on the company and your role. So in the States, one company I worked for, it was more of a hassle to have to take leave, and they weren't as flexible with it. But the role I just left was super awesome about it and taking leave when you needed it, and that's how I've felt here in New Zealand as well. At least for what I do and what my coworkers do. Yeah, no one's ever has an issue with taking leave, or like when I had COVID, they couldn't believe I was still working. I was like,
oh yeah, because you just worked from home.
Yeah, but then again, maybe I would have taken some leave if I would have had those sick days, but those don't come to me until 6 months into my job. So
yeah, but you were also fine.
Yeah. Other benefits though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What other benefits do you have?
Well,
you get a free gym.
Oh yeah. So my work, we have a free gym in our business park, so that's really nice. And then of course in New Zealand, you don't have to have health insurance because it's the universal healthcare. So that's not part of the benefits here, which is, that's a good thing compared to the States. Yeah, in the States you have your medical insurance, dental, and eye insurance, but I don't have any of that with my job.
It's not connected to your job.
It's not connected to my job, at least.
Which is
so we could purchase the private insurance, but haven't at this time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're generally healthy people, so yeah, we should be fine.
I think this is with most companies too. Like, there's a whole list of other companies we get discounts with. Like, we have partnered with that. I had that in the States as well, but that's also a thing here.
Nice.
We also have every Friday after work, there's...
Well, no, I thought you were talking about the dogs.
Oh, that too. So every Friday, we call it Furry Friday, so people can bring their dogs to work. It's great.
I get pictures of all of the dogs, and I am so jealous every time.
That's the best
You
part.
sent me one this Friday that, like, a dog was just sitting on a bed on a desk.
Yeah, on the desk. It's like this size of a Pomeranian. Yeah, just on a desk.
Cute.
Somebody brought a little baby lamb the other week. That was a highlight. But also Fridays, at the end of the day, they have, like, pizza and beer.
That the company pays for.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people ask if like you take tea breaks. A lot of people like mention that in other videos too. Like, do you take breaks with your coworkers? Do you take breaks by yourself? Or how does that work?
I have a couple coworkers who have it built into their calendar every day. Like at 10 o'clock from 10 to 10:15, they have coffee break or tea break. Not that they always take it, but they just have it built in there. So people try not to schedule things at that time. It is a thing, but I think just my team, we always take breaks from our work to just chit chat and joke around anyway. So
yeah,
we get
didn't. Also, this wasn't necessarily a break, but this is just something funny. In like your team meeting the other day, you taught your coworkers a full-on dance.
Yeah. Every Friday we have just a huddle where we just kind of do a team bonding game or something. And this past Friday I taught them a dance.
I saw a video. It was great. It was high quality. And then another one. Are you expected to work more than 40 hours?
Nope. Or if we have to, because we just have like some event coming up that we just need to push through, then you just eat those hours by like leaving early the next Monday, or like if you have appointments, just don't take the holiday time off kind of thing. So it's definitely not like a cultural expectation.
Nice. Anything else about your work? I'm sure you'll get a couple of more questions from people in the comments that we didn't think of anything, or we didn't think of everything. But I'm trying to think of anything else.
I mean, just in general, overall, it just really has not been, and again, because I went from a good company to a good company, so it's always nice. But it hasn't been a crazy difference in transition. Of course, just with any new place you start, there's just having to learn new names and new faces and new people. But
and I think you too, like as you like, your job didn't necessarily change a ton from moving from the U.S. to New Zealand, but we know that's not the case for a lot of jobs.
Especially like healthcare, like I know that it's just like new names for things, new processes.
Yeah. Or like me for accounting, like it would have been so different had I gone into accounting again, because there's different framework and everything like that. So it would have been, if I had gone back into accounting back or in New Zealand, it would have been completely different and we'd be having a completely different conversation. But now I work at a gym and it's great. And my job's not really comparable to what I did in the States. And so we'll kind of keep that away, because I got my job after you got your essential skills visa. I got a partner work visa, so I had an open visa and I could work anywhere. It's great. But yeah, my job, I can't really answer a lot of the questions in the context of like what you guys probably are wondering about jobs in comparison. But obviously, like if you're looking for a job, don't be afraid to reach out to people on LinkedIn. I'd say, like, if you're looking at a certain company in New Zealand, and just like ask what it's like.
Because Kiwis are just so like friendly, and I think half my team I work with is either from the UK or has lived in the UK for a couple of years. So like they're so used to people being from different places of the world, and they're really nice and wanting to help out. And I mean, you've probably mentioned like when we moved here, so many people borrowed things to us who are from my work. And
don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions to people, or ask a lot of questions if you do get lucky and get a job interview, because obviously if you're going to pick up and move across the world for a job and for a new life, you want to make sure that you're going to enjoy it and like the role, because if we came here and one of us didn't like our jobs, I think it'd be a lot harder to stay, if that makes sense, because when your visa is attached to your job, that determines a lot of what your life is like here. And yeah, you are very lucky because you had an incredible company in the States and you have a really awesome company here. So if you have more questions for Keaton or myself, if you want to, you can leave them in the comments. If you're one of our if you're one of our friends from home and you're still watching this, that's just a fun little thing. It's getting fun. We're getting a lot more people are hanging out with us on these videos, which I'm just like, oh my gosh, you guys want to watch watch what our life is like, which I think is so sweet. Because yeah, I just kind of started this to hang out and make some memories of and have a place to remember it. So if you're here with us, yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we'll keep making more videos. Well, thank you, Keaton.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to this interview. Okay, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.